Hi, folks. How are you doing? Captain Mark Stevenson here. I'm just so excited to share another episode of From the Wheelhouse with you. And today I want to share some things. Boy, oh boy, do I want to share some things. I, first of all, want to share some things from the Tuskegee Airmen. You know, being a ship's captain means that you really have to be ready for all types of things, of course, on the waterfront. But you better know this. You better train your crew. You better train the people that are around you to do the things that are necessary just in case you can't do them yourself. So today, I'm going to share something very, very special with you. And this is the Tuskegee Airmen's motto. I want you to take a look at this, folks. The motto was given to me by Captain Ken Rapier, and Captain Rapier is the president of the Dodo chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen here in the Chicagoland area. And he told me to tell you this. These are the 5 things that makes a Tuskegee Airman. And also, I see that these are the 5 things that will help you to achieve any goal that you want to. First of all, never fear greatness. I mean, never, ever fear greatness. You know, sometimes we fear those things called successes. A lot of people are afraid of failure, but do you know that there are some people who are afraid of success? Never be afraid of being great. The fact is that the more things that you do to help other people, the more haters are going to come out of the woodwork at you. Isn't it true? T.D. Jakes, he said it best when he said that the more haters that you have is a clear indication that you're on the right track. It just tickles me. That's why I'm laughing, because the more work that I do to share the maritime industry with all of our viewers and to make sure that I'm spreading the news to African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and women, and all types of people, the more that I do, the more people that just come out the woodwork on me. So I'm not going to be afraid of my greatness, because my job is to help you. The second thing is to never give up. When a good man or woman never gives up, you know, if you're really focused on the things that you need to do, you never, ever, ever want to give up. You never want to give up on those things that you really, really want to do. So make sure that you're not a quitter, because a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. That's a fact. I want you to make darn sure that you do that. I want you to also know that there are so many, many things that I want to share with you. But let's get on to number 3. The next thing is that to unite to achieve a common goal, we have to make sure that we unite to achieve a common goal. And that's a fact. That's what the Tuskegee Airmen did. They made sure that in areas that they were weak at, that they helped other people on their team by training them after hours. So if you are looking to be a merchant mariner, if you're looking to get into the boating business, you have to work with other people to achieve a common goal. Number 4, set your standards to excellence. And I just have to tell you, if you're setting your standards to excellence, you don't really have much to worry about. You know, Joel Osteen talks about operating your life in a state of excellence, making sure that if you're in a parking lot, for example, from a grocery store, take that extra energy that you already have in you to push the carts, not just your cart, into the stall where all the extra carts go. Make sure if you see any garbage in the parking lot around your house, around your neighborhood, that you take the time to pick it up. You know, operating your life in a standard of excellence isn't always the easiest thing. But then again, it is, because you are excellent. I know you're excellent because you took the time to tune in to today's show from the Wheelhouse. Just put your seatbelt on. We got a really great guest today that I'm about to introduce to you. Number 5, setting your standards. Setting your standards was number 4, and making sure that with courage and determination that you can overcome adversity. That's a fact. With courage and determination, you can absolutely overcome anything. I'm talking about anything, all the things that are holding you back. Now, we're going to take a moment to go to a video that I want you to see, because our guest today is going to make sure that she tells us everything about how to bring women. That's right, that's what I said. Bringing women into the maritime industry. Let's take a look at this video.
The maritime world is changing, and for the better. With help from IMO, exciting and rewarding career opportunities are opening up for women, and a new generation of strong and talented women are responding. They're proving that, in today's world, the maritime industries are for everyone. It's not about your gender, it's about what you can do.
It started as a challenge. They were looking for a male to do what I'm doing, and I challenged them that I as a female can, and I have, and I do.
I'm the first female to have been appointed the Managing Director of Nigerian Ports in its 63 years of existence.
We see more women involved in different departments within the maritime industry. We don't see them in the conventional roles anymore, where cooks and clerks. We see them in engineering, we see them going to sea, you see them in the radio rooms, in communications and intelligence, so it's definitely improved.
Apart from the social imperative to promote diversity in the 21st century, supply and demand in the labor force dictate that the industry simply cannot afford to ignore women, a huge potential workforce. Girls and women today have many options, and they are now strong role models in the maritime sector, but many barriers still need to be overcome.
Well, I would say there are opportunities for women, but those opportunities are not equal. The sector as it is generally has a way of discriminating against women, but as women we need not to allow that or accept it, but we need to sort of kick the doors open and get ourselves accepted in the industry.
We need to be more sustainable. We cannot continue leaving aside 50% of the population.
There's still a lack of awareness of the dynamics of what women bring to the table in the maritime sector.
At first, when I was growing up, I didn't know that there was opportunities to come in the maritime industry, and I didn't know that, hey, females were allowed to be a part of it.
Wow. I can't believe that females are part of the maritime industry. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today, Lauren Merkley, she is fresh to the maritime industry in some ways, and an experienced professional in other ways. She's been in the business 5 years. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us again.
Truly a pleasure.
I understand that you were on our show during the first episode of this season.
Yes, I was, with Captain Jim Mescal.
Very good, very good. Well, I hope that I'm as easy on you as he is, but at the same time, I really have to dial into it, because this idea of having women in the maritime industry is new to a lot of us veterans, and we have to make sure that we're opening the doors in all the opportunities across the board, even the dangerous parts. Now, Lauren, this is a live call-in interactive show, and we have a caller already so eager to ask you a question. So strap in, get ready to go. Welcome to today's show from the Wheelhouse. Welcome to our show, caller. Go ahead, your question or comment.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ann, and I'm very surprised that there are opportunities for women in the maritime industry because typically, historically, we were not allowed to have the opportunities that they have today. So there was a point where, the pearls of the sea, the women and children were thrown into the Atlantic Ocean instead of actually working on the boats, so there was just a completely different perspective on blacks and people who, especially African Americans and minority people who have records. So how is it that we can introduce this opportunity to the people who have records and to women?
Okay,
Black
we'll
women in
both
particular.
answer that question. Thank you so much for your question. What do you think about that, Lauren?
I think there are definite adversities at getting started into the community, but it is so open. Once you prove yourself that you can follow along, you listen, take orders, I think that you definitely get a fair shot to be a person out there on the water.
And taking orders, what do you mean? Have you got into the business just automatically knowing a lot of things because you read about it, or did you have to follow orders?
I knew absolutely nothing, and I dived right into it. I started charter boating, but taking orders is something that I definitely struggled with, still do. But when, especially on the water, you don't always know what's happening, and there's a lot of moving pieces. So being able to listen to your higher-ups telling you to do things, even if you don't know or don't agree with it, is a huge thing. And showing up on time. If you can do those two things, you make a lot of headway out there.
Well, you went into classes to become a captain, didn't you? And how are you doing with that? Where are you so far? I've been hearing through the grapevine that you're close to getting 4 stripes on your shoulder because you've been in the business for 5 years already.
Right. So I've got my time on the water that's necessary. And tomorrow I actually take my Rules of the Road test, which is the last one that I'll need to submit for my captain's license.
Wow.
So 2020, I will be Captain Lauren Merkley.
Now tell me this. What about our caller's question that she asked about a lot of people that have criminal backgrounds or backgrounds that aren't just pristine? Do you have to have a pristine background in order to work in this industry?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Really. It's definitely a place where it's about how you act and perform, not your past or your future that has anything to do with it, but you in that moment, being there, aware of your surroundings. If you're a tradesperson, it's definitely a route. One of the best avenues I've found.
Well, that's very encouraging because there's a lot of women out here, not just any women, but women that have had some really serious challenges in their background. It seems that the maritime industry is one of those industries that's left where a person that's had some mistakes in their life can still be able to hope to reach the top and become a captain. Is that so?
Absolutely, and thrive at it too. Because
And
people
thrive
have
at
gone
it.
through things like that. Things on the water don't always go as planned.
Why did you want to become a captain?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love the thrill of it. The problems that I have out there on a day-to-day basis are the problems that I want to have in this life.
What about when they, especially the men? I remember there was a Captain Camilla Ross. She was an idol of mine, the first female to head a professional maritime organization. Now, Captain Ross, I remember people didn't even want to talk to a female on the radio when she would call for help or advice, and they would say some of the most terrible things because they heard a woman's voice on the radio. But all of that has changed now, isn't it?
Definitely. And even if you do hit that adversity to start with, it's a place that your actions prove yourself. Even if they don't like you initially, once they see your work ethic and you doing your job, they can't have nothing to say about it past that.
You talked about your work ethic of being on time. Why is that so important?
Oh, not only you're on a military time, but being able to show up on time everything is so scheduled out there. That's a broad question.
I happen to know a captain that helped in some of your training. His name was Captain Gordon. And Captain Gordon reached to help you. Exactly how did your experience start, and how did your experience go with Captain Gordon?
I had a friend. That's actually how I found my way to the water initially.
Really?
I had a friend who said, "Hey, you want to go on a boat?" I didn't leave for 3 days.
Oh my God!
I found my people. I started working charter boats later that week.
Really?
Yeah, a Chicago tiki boat for
okay.
Pablo, and doing charters, and knowing not only are the charters expecting you to show up on time, but you're doing back-to-back work there, so everything flowing very nicely and keeping up with your time is crucial.
That's very good. And Captain Gordon is a teacher and a mentor to us all. He's taught even this captain that's been out on the water many years, constantly learning new things, learns things from Captain Gordon. He's really one of a kind. If you want to find out more information about him, I want you to make sure that if you want to not just find out more information about him, but information about Captain Lauren, soon to be Captain Lauren, and find out how women can get into the maritime industry. It's real simple. Here's all you have to do. Grab an ink pen right now, because we're going to give you this vital information from the wheelhouse. We're going to tell you that, we're going to tell you to just simply email us at chicagoboats@gmail.com. That's chicagoboats@gmail.com. Or you can call me directly by coming to your phone and calling 312-437-2230. That's 312-437-2230. I promise I will forward this information on to soon-to-be Captain Lauren, and we can't wait to have you out there. Are you expecting to come out this spring?
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually in touch with a couple different companies as far as what I'm going to be doing work-wise. Anything from, there's a little boat that drives around the playpen delivering ice cream to people that have boats, to the Chicago Maritime Service with Bill Russell. He's also a good friend.
The Chicago Maritime School is something that you can look up online also. That's where you went to get your classes, right?
Absolutely.
We had Captain Russell as a guest on our show. That's how I know. And we want to make sure that anyone that is interested in working on boats can do so. Now, what if I didn't want to get on a boat and be the captain? What if I just wanted to work on the boat, especially if I'm a female and I wanted to just kind of cut my teeth and learn some things and, and learn a few knots like you learned from Captain Gordon, right?
Sailing.
Sailing, okay.
Sailing is such a beautiful thing. And it's definitely a place to be. You learn actively on your feet, and they're always looking for crew. If you've got any interest in it, just going to the waterfront and talking to boaters. I've never met a more receptive community, maybe other than Cubs fans. But they're always willing to at least explain things for you.
Yes.
To you.
That's a fact. I got into the business also first by volunteering to work on sailboats, and it was something that had to do with these knots. I've been told to ask you about this knot question. I've been told to ask you, why is a notch, they call them the half hitch, why is that so important for especially a beginner to know?
Not only is it one of the quickest and easiest ones to put on, but you need to attach your fender to the side of the boat. So if you're coming into a wall and you're new at driving, Suspenders are quite crucial.
Another reason is something that I learned. I've learned that you have to be able to tie these knots to save your life or save the life of someone else. It's something called a bowline.
Right?
What is that about?
That is one of the most slip-proof knots. That
Oh, this girl knows her business.
I do.
Why is that so important?
So, if you tell me on this one, I don't want to.
Well,
So,
let me tell you this way by telling you a story. I had a Captain Al. They call him the mayor of Jackson Park Harbor, and Captain Al was a guy that real old guy. I think he's about 88 and maybe 90 years old now, but he showed me a knot called a bowline. He said, you need to know this knot first and foremost, because if you're in the water and you're falling in the water and somebody is throwing you a line, you need to know how to wrap that line around you and tie it so that they can pull you to them. Now, if you don't tie it exactly right, it turns into a slip knot, and it's not going to be comfortable. But if you just listen to me, son, and learn this knot, well, of course, I didn't listen to him, Lauren, and he pushed me in the water. And he said, don't worry about it. Here's a line. Tie the bowline. I tied this line around my chest, and as he pulled the line, I realized right away I had tied a slip knot.
oh no.
I made a wrong move on tying that knot. Very simple knot, but
It's pretty easy to accidentally goof it up, though.
oh, sure, and I most certainly did. So every time I exhaled, he pulled the line tighter and squeezed my chest tighter and tighter, so I could not inhale. And I was in trouble. I was in trouble for a minute, but he pulled me in, but it taught me a lesson to pay attention to my superiors. Taught me a good lesson to learn those knots. So I understand that Captain Gordon did some good work with you in teaching you some of these knots, and I'm going to suggest you better learn that bowline like you know how to tie your shoes.
Definitely, it could save your life one day.
Absolutely.
They're really good.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, this is the show that you really have been waiting on from the wheelhouse. My name is Captain Mark Stevenson. My guest today is soon to be Captain Lauren Merkley, and I want you to give us a call. Make sure you give us an email. Make sure you call me and ask some questions. I'll forward them on to her. I promise I'll do that. Tell me, why is it important for us to let the public know about women in the business today?
There is so many future prospects out there,
What do
especially.
you mean, future?
There is a lot of people going into the tech industry and everything like that. There are definitely lots of communities, but the maritime industry has so much to offer, especially as far as career paths, different things that you can do out there.
Does it pay better than McDonald's?
Oh, absolutely. As a
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry.
starting pay out there for most companies is $15 an hour, let alone captains make upwards of $40 to $60 an hour.
Wow. I think we have another caller. If we have another caller on the line, okay, we don't. But go ahead. You're saying that a captain can make
$40 to $60 an hour, and that's starting.
That's starting. That's starting. That is absolutely right. Some of the big companies don't pay that kind of money, but I know that once you have a few years' experience, Captain, and I'm going to start calling you Captain now, once you have a few years' experience, you can make $85 to $100 an hour doing charters. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And they're fun. It's almost a sin to take the money.
It is. It's honestly the best job I've ever had.
Is it?
Even if you don't like the group that's on the boat, they're only there for 3 hours maximum, so you can keep a happy face for 3 hours.
During that first hour, they're pounding them down, getting drunk. Second hour, they're drunk. Third hour, they're obnoxious. How does a female handle a drunken crowd?
Professionally. Absolutely one of my favorite things to do.
Did she say it or not?
If you've had any surfing experience, it's a It is the best thing.
Absolutely. Well, this show passes by so quickly. I am so grateful that you took the time to come in. But I'm going to give you this information one more time if you need to contact. If you need to contact Captain Lauren, I want you to make sure that you do so by contacting me via email at chicagoboats@gmail.com or simply give me a call at 312-437-2230. Thank you so much again for coming and joining us. I appreciate
It's always such
you
a pleasure. Thank you.
very much. I can't wait to work with you this year coming up.
You're going to see me at the helm.
Absolutely. Folks, thanks again for joining in on today's show. Until next week, I'll see you then. Now, Mama, get the coffee ready because the kid, he's on his way.
Ooh.